This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. I'm Ken, and with me, as always, are Cody and Kyle.
Hello! I had to match your spirit.
I know. Well, this is our second round of the day as we had some technical issues recording the first podcast, and then Warner Brothers decided to change the world.
Yeah.
Again. You think you're numb to this, and then somebody's like, oh, have you ever tried a needle in your eye?
Yeah.
Yes, many times.
Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, and now we're back. And luckily, we can talk about Warner's. So,
like more release changes than
we're
before.
just going to be in the studio forever because everybody just keeps changing
As
things.
soon as we get out.
They didn't even have the courtesy to wait till 4 o'clock like Sony did last week, which we'll get into.
Sony makes some moves, but at least they have the decency.
Yeah, we are all gone home early on a Friday, and then they pull that BS. Now it's Warner's doing it early in the day. They should know better. That gives me time to call them, give them peace of my mind.
Right.
You change it back.
I'm going to call that Bugs
Change it
Bunny
back
and tell
now.
him what's up.
Yeah.
All right, so what happened? What's going on?
Okay, well, let's start with Warner's. They just moved Dune from October 1st to October 22nd. So they were getting away from Bond, even though they were before Bond. But this doesn't seem like far enough away from Bond. So
Do you think maybe they're seeing that movies are having their, I guess for some, quote unquote, big openings, but then they're not seeing any like smaller drop offs, like they're seeing bigger drop offs, so they think the same could happen with Bond?
maybe, yeah. I mean, I think so pre, technical difficulty podcast, we talked about some issues where Dune was at. It was 10-1. It was going up against now 2
PG animated films.
Yeah, which we'll get into in a little bit. But with Bond the next week, there was going to be an issue where, we needed enough screens for Bond, and Bond was going to get into littler theaters, and so there wasn't really a place for Dune. This opens up more of a place for Dune, although I think it's getting close to Halloween Kills.
Yeah. No, if you have a 4-screen theater and you have 2 PG animated films opening week 1, and then Bond opening on probably 2 screens week 2,
right,
and then you have a Halloween horror movie 2 weeks before Halloween,
right,
there's no room. I mean, you're already underscreened.
You're underscreened. You probably are coming off one of those animated movies early.
Yeah, unless they both perform well, and then you're stuck trying to grasp at straws.
So I don't know if this was the best move. I do have my reservations about Dune just in general. I don't think that there's a sci-fi audience anymore, just how I don't think that there's a...
Timothée Camembert, or whatever his name is.
Timothy Chalamet, or whatever.
Cabernet, whatever it is.
Oh, okay. I was like, this is a reference I'm not getting, but...
Yeah. So I'm just really worried about sci-fi movies. I just don't think that there's an audience for that anymore.
Especially highbrow fantasy movies, I suppose. I don't know. I mean, I think it works better in television, and it seems like
probably on a smaller scale in an audience where it's more about a series of characters maybe than this one. I don't know. This is like kind of the granddad of sci-fi and
it's one
cinema.
Of the big titles.
Yeah, and so it is worthy to be redone. It's just I am just got reservations about it.
Could the move also, one more quick thing, could the move also be because they're still trying to decide if it's day and date or theatrical only?
It is day and date.
They're sticking with that?
Yeah, they're sticking with that. So
Bummer. Okay.
Well, Warner's has got an interesting day and date model that I think when something has legs and it lasts more than the first few weeks, there's some life left in the product at the end. It's only day and dated for the first 31 days, which is frustrating because that's when the film makes most of its money. But as we're seeing with some of the smaller titles, there is some life after that 31-day mark where you get a little bump in grosses on the matinee or the evening, the stacked screen side after 5 weeks. So if it's still playing that long, it holds pretty steady because it then comes off streaming. So
Yeah, it looks like they did some horse trading with the other dates too.
yeah. So what else did they move?
It was a little 3-card Monty with these movies.
Oh, so they moved Dune to the Cry Macho date, and they moved the Cry Macho date up to September 17th.
Yes. And
What is Cry Macho?
That's the
Clint Eastwood, Dwight
Eastwood
Yoakam.
movie.
It's going to be really good.
Okay.
It's going to play really well in the West.
Right.
It's not a New York City movie.
No, definitely not.
And then The Saints in New York, which is the Sopranos prequel movie.
Which is a New York City movie.
That moved on to Dune's October 1st date from September 24th. So they're just repositioning their pieces. It looks like, New York, they don't mind that going up into James Bond. They wanted to protect Dune, I'm sure, a little bit more. And so they kept pretty much their weekends.
They made one for $20 million and they made one for $200 million.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I mean, not too bad, all in October and September. So luckily we haven't looked out that far yet. So it's not really changed the landscape in my view, booking strategy wise, because I'm just not there yet. So
yeah, no one's really sweating about this.
I mean, it's like when they move release dates like in a year from now. It's like, okay, big deal.
Right.
But the match that started this fire was last week.
Yeah. So we had recorded a podcast. We like to do it earlier in the day so we can get out early on a Friday.
Friday.
Yeah. And then Sony just likes to drop their bombs at like 4:00.
But again, they have the decency.
They do when we're already out of the office.
Wait, that's not a bomb.
Yeah. Yeah. So they moved Hotel Transylvania 4 from July 23rd to October 1st. And the whole big thing in the headlines is, oh no, they put it up against Addams Family 2. And we talked a little bit in our pre-session podcast.
Which will never air now.
Which you'll never hear and you have no reference to.
Yeah.
But if you guys do remember
Keep going, Cody.
If you do, if we can read our minds and know what we're about to say, I don't know. They put them head to head and who's going to blink first. But this is the 4th Hotel Transylvania film. And as we've come to find out, Adam Sandler is not a part of this one, even though we have him on the cast list. So there's some discrepancy in the media about his involvement here.
That's what we'll call it. Yeah.
But say he's not involved.
Right.
Like what is being reported. Does that sound like a fun, the 4th installment and you don't even have your main guy behind it anymore?
I mean, if Adam Sandler is sick of something, that tells you something,
Right.
I don't know. Like, that does not seem to wane positivity.
Mr. Hubie Halloween on Netflix.
Exactly. Mr. Jack and Jill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
that doesn't look good.
Fourth films in a series without the main characters. I mean, Transformers 4 was excellent.
He says with sarcasm.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried to replace Shia LaBeouf with Mark Wahlberg and Stanley Tucci.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, we're just going to go off the board with this one.
Some franchise, it wears thin. And I think Hotel could possibly be seeing that. It looks like a good movie.
It does look, I like the concept of it. It doesn't feel like another just iteration. I like how it swaps the monsters and the humans, and I think that's a really fun concept. And then you get to see the monsters in human form, and some of them are not what you expect them to be.
Still voiced by Adam Sandler's friends, so somehow he got out of that, but everyone else didn't.
Got stuck. But it is Addams Family 2. It's a sequel. It's a little bit fresher.
Yeah, the first one was a surprise success, I would call it.
Mm-hmm. Now you've got Sony against United Artists on that. Sony's got a little bit more heft in distribution, a little bit better marketing spend. But Addams, I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the Addams Family kind of story is, because we don't know anything about it.
These are gonna move. Somebody's gonna blink, like you said. They can't leave 2 PG Halloween movies on the exact same date.
So the thinking from Sony was that internationally, and especially in Canada, the markets are still very restricted. Canada hasn't opened. Yeah. There's still some closures there, and this property is too important for them to waste, I guess, on restricted markets right now. And so they moved it, but I feel like they if their whole rationale was that they didn't want to waste it, then why put it up against something that could cannibalize it? It just...
Yeah, if I was a betting man, I'd just bet on the pattern of things and just say that Sony is probably going to move it again.
Right.
Maybe even like earlier towards, moving more towards Halloween.
Yeah.
Up a few weeks or back a few weeks. I don't know how
the voice actor who replaced Adam Sandler, his second biggest credit, other than Hotel Transylvania, Transformania, is the Hotel Transylvania short film.
Oh.
So literally the one that's going to be released prior.
With monster pets.
Yeah.
The one after that are all like TV episodes.
I was going to say, there is a Hotel Transylvania TV show.
He wasn't in the Hotel Transylvania TV show. It's just a bunch of other random shows.
Oh.
It's like, let's see, who can we get for the minimum?
Yeah.
At least that guy has a shot, so good for him.
I mean, he's got a headshot on.
I wonder if they just
on IMDb, and he's got some credits.
Yeah. I wonder when Sony sent us the cast list, they just copied the cast list from the first one. On like a pre-created, sales sheet, and
copy
sent
and paste,
and then they're like, we didn't realize.
No, you assume. I mean, he's doing an Adam Sandler impression,
right?
Honestly, he got me. Like I thought for sure it was the same guy, but So there you go. I guess we dropped a bomb for some people. Yeah. Whatever. I mean, it'll work out.
So did it affect my booking strategies? Because at their behest, I did plan out all my screens to that July 23rd date because Sony wanted the dates so bad that I got them all their dates, and some of them were actually confirmed. No, it didn't actually ruin anything. There's so many films coming out that week. There were 4 titles, including Hotel, Snake Eyes, Old, and
Comeback Trail.
Yeah, from United Artists.
Cloudburst.
Sorry. That moving one, there was actually creating some problems. Whereas if I gave Hotel T enough screens, I wasn't able to get the other, some of the other product in. So that was going to shape up to be an issue. And then they moved, and I got to call everybody back, especially Universal, and say, you got your dates. And I just gave Warner's more Space Jam dates because Space Jam comes out the week before. And I think between Boss Baby on the 2nd, Space Jam on July 17th, and then Jungle Cruise on the 30th.
Oh, that's right.
They're spaced enough apart that your families and kids are being taken care of. Granted, they're not all animated titles, which helps a little bit more on the family side, but they are family skewed PG-13 titles that I think will play well.
Those are the demographics. Yeah.
Especially Jungle Cruise. That'll definitely play.
Yeah, looking at the schedule, it was a square peg in a round hole. Like it didn't fit there. But now we've got 2 weeks PG, 2 weeks PG, 2 weeks PG-13.
Yeah.
Like it makes more sense like this, and it needed to go in October, but we couldn't tell Sony that enough. We couldn't tell them Peter Rabbit deserved an Easter release. No matter how hard we tried.
Right.
So it wasn't a huge blow to the schedule. It kind of works out in our favor in some other ways, but what it did do is make it a little light. I mean, I don't know if some of the stuff that comes out before is going to hold up, and so there could be some holes down towards the end of July. But that's when we get there, and that's when an opportunity for little guys to come in too.
Yeah, things still look promising enough.
Like Pig from Neon or the Anthony Bourdain Roadrunner documentary. I mean, there's some other stuff in there that I can pull in down the road.
Sure.
Yeah, but we do current news here. What are you doing this week? What does your schedule look like this week for bookings?
It's F9, baby. F9 everywhere. Multiple screens. It's got a really long runtime. So, yeah, we blew out F9. Hopefully that holds up the second week. We talked about it's very front loaded. Did you mention there's like 7 million in Thursday shows?
Yeah, that's what I've been reading so far is the 7 million.
Once again, you reference this forbidden podcast that we're not going to.
It's been a reality in my world. I'm just bringing everybody along with me. So
come along for the ride on Cody's
universe of what could have been.
On Cody's Crazy Train multiverse.
Yeah. I'm just preparing myself. So yeah, I did really good. I mean, 7 million on Thursday pre-shows is an excellent number even pre-pandemic. So
Yeah.
that's extremely strong. And because we're not seeing a lot of advanced ticket sales right now because people were still unsure if theaters were open. So that just shows the strength of this. I'm really hoping that the July 4th weekend keeps the gross up, that it doesn't drop off more than 50-60%, because a Fast and Furious movie probably would do that normally.
Nope, it's perfect timing.
Yeah.
You've got 4th of July with the extra Monday holiday for a lot of folks on the second week, which is going to bump up that second
Right.
week number.
No, and I gave Universal extra screens for F9. It was going to be a big film. We're all looking for it to pop a huge gross. And then I backed off those screens to open more Universal titles like Purge and Boss Baby. So really, no one's missed out. And screen-wise, I'm not excluding anybody there. I'm losing Universal screens for more Universal product. So it'll freshen it up a little bit. So I'm not looking like I have, 3 or 4 screens of Fast 9 forever.
No, this isn't going to be one of those. It may go from 3-4 screens down to 1 or 2.
It'll go one when Black Widow opens.
When Black Widow opens, it'll definitely be
because
down
I'll
to
need
1.
the extra screens for Black Widow.
Yeah, because
And-
that's when we doesn't have a window, so you have to capitalize on it that first weekend.
It's all about the first weekend on Black Widow. Yeah, because the remaining weeks could really hurt it. But luckily on that one, there is that premium charge on that Black Widow. So that'll help maintain the grosses a little bit there.
Yeah. Well, speaking of maintaining, we've heard of some locations getting their SVOG grants.
Yes.
Woo,
Oh,
woo.
I didn't bring my sheet, but there's been, I think 1,700 grants awarded and another 1,000 that have been notified that they will be awarded. They just haven't received the money yet. So, we're out of 14,000 applications. We're at nearly 3,000 have been awarded. So we're seeing a lot of movement on it. Now there's quite a few technical issues still to be worked out, and there's some declines. There are just some people that were found ineligible and declined for a grant. So they're coming up with an appeals process. If you've been declined, they're working on the process to help fix your technical errors. But I think right now they're just trying to get through more and more applications so that they can get the awards out sooner, and then they're going to take care of the people that have technical issues and were declined. So I think the focus right now is just getting people approved and getting the awards out, and then they'll take a step back and get through the other process. So we know of some clients that have gotten their money, and so we're going to hopefully start seeing more and more of that each week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Keep us updated. Post underneath this on social media and tell us that you've received yours.
Yeah.
We don't need dollar amounts, but
No.
tell us that.
I mean, it would be nice.
Don't get
Tell-
too detailed.
Yeah.
Tell us
You
that
can
it came
You
in.
can tell me how much it is. I'm nosy like that. I won't judge. I've seen awards anywhere from $20,000 to for some really little, locations up to $9 million. And the $10 million is the cap, so nearly at the cap on that. So
$9 million sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
If you're asking for 9, you might as well ask for 10.
right,
Come on, what's the difference here?
yeah.
Maybe they lowballed it. They were like, $9 million? Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, whatever.
They accept
Stamp of
it.
approval.
They accept everything under 9.1 million.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they look at it with extreme scrutiny.
Yeah. Well, they're asking for the cap. What's going on here? A lot of live venues. Even there was even some local venues here where we're located that I was like, what? They applied for this? Because I just think about it as for movie theaters. I don't think about it for the actual
think
other
of
other
venues.
things?
We think
Yeah.
of movie theaters, and we thought of Broadway because that's the only thing they brought up.
Right.
Like, this is to help
It was-
Broadway.
It was Chuck Schumer in New York. It was definitely to help Broadway.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when I saw other venues on there, I was like, oh yeah, they were able to get it, and I'm glad. I'm glad some of that stuff is going to survive as well as theaters.
For sure.
So that's super positive update. They're putting more resources behind awarding those grants, and
Seems like after that mishap from 2-3 weeks ago, they are finally actually doing
the whole
things.
last 3 months has been like a giant mishap.
Since it was announced.
They're like,
Yeah.
okay, people are finally honest about this. Like, we need to step up.
Yeah, and I think they were just SBA must have been just really overwhelmed with with PPP money that changes in some of their other loan programs, and they just didn't have the resources to deal with this. But now that and the restaurant grants, I mean, they had a lot going on, and I get it that they were stretched thin, but now all hands are on deck on this, and we're seeing some movement, so that's good.
Yeah, totally.
Speaking of movement,
yeah,
Steven Spielberg's taking Amblin Entertainment over to Netflix.
Okay, so I was wondering like how this was going to work with your transition, but you brought it back. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm on board with that one.
yeah. So
Nailed it.
in the news this last week, we saw that Amblin Productions signed a deal with Netflix to produce at least 2 movies a year for Netflix. Now, this does not mean that Steven Spielberg is directing these 2 movies. His company is just producing them. And, I'm sure that this is Netflix's way of getting in with Spielberg. You can't have any mention of Amblin Entertainment without associating his name to it. So by default, they kind of get that association with him without him actually creating a film for him. And, they need more of that name recognition. And so they're investing in that right now. And I'm sure they hope that down the road he'll do a movie for them.
Yeah, because right now Spielberg's going to be directing stuff specifically for a theatrical release, while whatever other smaller things that Amblin makes, they'll just put onto Netflix.
Yeah. I just worry that Netflix will be like, yeah, we'll give you a theatrical release, and it'll go on like 25 locations like what they've done before and pre-selected. It played in theaters.
Yeah,
we didn't report any grosses.
If Adam Sandler was worth $200 million, what is a Steven Spielberg worth?
Yeah.
It's a blank check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it's crypto.
Even though Scorsese was mad at, other studios not letting him have the projects be able to go to theatrical, he still ended up going to, streaming on a smaller theatrical level as well. So I really hope Spielberg is the one that sticks to his guns out of like the, I guess, older regime of directors, but I don't know. You never know. Eventually, there could be a breaking point where even Spielberg himself is sick of, his
Right.
movies being released to theaters, and
Well, I think-
maybe it's not getting the audiences that he wanted, or maybe the studios are starting to lessen on, showing his movies to begin with. I hope that point doesn't come and that he sticks to his guns when it comes to this.
I think there's a couple issues going on here. One is that, we cherish the names of these directors because they've directed quality films in the past, and the way the theatrical system worked in the past, you were able to have a director ascend to a level that was marketable. You would go see a movie because the director directed it. And I think recently Christopher Nolan comes to mind on a director that's like that.
All hail Nolan.
Yeah. But moving forward with the supply that's there, and the rate at which these films have to be cranked out, I don't know if there's an ability for a director to transcend that, the chaos of all of the supply out there, and to differentiate themselves and to be a marketable name. And so I don't think Spielberg has made a film that audiences have really gravitated to in years, but he's one of very few people out there that of names in the industry, whether it's a director or an actor, that still bring people in. And so the streamers, I think, are going to start trying to associate themselves with what little bit you can market on off of names. But
Apple's doing that with Scorsese.
Yeah, but moving forward, who's going to take up those mantles? Because there's not Scorsese. Maybe puts out films that people want to see. I don't really want to see them, but there's somebody out there that wants to watch those. I don't know.
They're sitting across the table.
Yeah,
from
I'll
you.
watch them.
I don't know when the last film, like Spielberg film, that I wanted to see. I mean, besides an Indiana Jones, but that got so messed up that
He's not even doing the 4th one now.
Yep.
Or the 5th one.
What-
Well, technically the 4th one, because we forget about the original 4th one.
yeah, it's the supposed 4th one.
Right.
We'll see how this goes. This might just be another.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm going through the list here, and I think the last one of these that I saw in theaters was Lincoln in 2012.
Oh, man, and that was
I've never
a while
seen
ago.
that. I didn't
I mean,
see
it
Ready
was-
Great
Player
movie,
One.
though, but
Ready Player One, The Post, The BFG, Bridge of Spies, Lincoln, Warhorse, Tintin, Timeless Call.
Honestly, the last big one might have been Lincoln, because ever since then, like, these movies come out, but it's not like they're the most memorable. They're the most.
Warhorse looked good, but
I don't remember it being that big of a deal.
Yeah,
once it came out,
just kind of okay.
I don't know. I think even before the streaming wars have started happening, there's just been this blurred line of audiences not really gravitating towards directors. Like, it's kind of like actors nowadays. Like, no one's really going out to a movie just because of a certain actor. There's like the exception, but it's like very far and few.
Right. Well, because there was such an emphasis for the last like 15 years on franchise
content,
and the and the IP and it is that Marvel model that it doesn't matter who's in it or who directs it. It's about the character and it's about the interconnected story.
Sure.
And I'm bored of that now. But now we've had such an emphasis on it. There's no director, there's no actor that I'm like, oh, I'm going to go see whatever they're in because they chose a good part. And I trust that the quality of their skill is going to be on display.
Yeah. But even still, if Netflix does think that they now have the name recognition of Steven Spielberg, if they think that still is somehow as pristine as it's been for years, I don't really think that they necessarily have gotten that even still. It seems like they got Amblin, but I think people recognize...
Not technically.
Yeah, I think they recognize Spielberg's name more than Amblin.
They do, but every time, if Amblin were to put out a new movie on Netflix, an Amblin co-production, a company owned by Steven Spielberg, like you still get his name because nobody knows what Amblin is without him. So, I mean, in just a crazy roundabout way, they got it without actually getting him.
Right, and I don't know. To me, I just don't see it even still mattering to people all that much.
Right.
No, the tide has turned.
Yeah.
Which Instagram influencers in this movie?
Right.
Yeah.
It is kind of disappointing that it seems like that age is kind of disappearing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like film circles, that
love
their share of directors and up and comers and stuff like that, but it's far and few. The general audiences are not thinking about directors when they step into a movie
or actors or any of that anymore, and that's just kind of sad.
I mean, even still, people are like, "Oh, I'm fans of this actor," but really, they're fans of whatever role made them famous.
The character, they like the character more than the actor. So, I don't know. It just brought up a lot of interesting ideas about it because I was like, "Oh no, Spielberg did what?" But then you really get into the nitty gritty of it, and you realize he didn't align himself with streaming, but. It's kind of the way of the future. It's who has the money right now. Streamers have the money right now, and they're the ones creating the content. So any of the creatives have to go where the jobs are. So you can't blame them, but...
No, not on that level. Like, everyone needs a job, but when it comes to in terms of the theatrical industry...
Not healthy.
It's painful, and it's unhealthy.
Yeah. So...
Where's your transition here, Cody?
Yeah.
Make fun of my
something trailer time.
But you know who is a really great director that I really want to see their upcoming film? James Gunn.
There we go.
Suicide Squad.
So that was your favorite new trailer this week?
That was my favorite new trailer this week. I claimed it. I called dibs before the podcast. So I love the Suicide Squad trailer. It is gritty. It looks like the studio has stepped back. In the first Suicide Squad, you could tell there was executive interference and studio interference. This feels like they trusted James Gunn to kind of make something, and because he wasn't under the Disney Marvel thumb, he got to go a little grittier, like more adult.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had
you mean a little bit?
Yeah, a lot.
Did
a
you
lot
see
more
the
adult.
trailer?
A lot of it.
A little lot of it, and I liked that. I've had so much superhero movie stuff that I'm over it. I need something like more raw.
Yeah. some rawness with my superheroes.
Yeah. So, and that's what I feel like Suicide Squad's delivering, plus all the humor and everything else you want in it, and great performances and cast. The one criticism I have is that I feel like Idris Elba's character is just a stand-in for Will Smith. That's just what it appears to be in the trailer. It's a father doing it for his daughter. He's in prison. This is going to reduce his sentence. I know that's kind of the general theme for all of the
But we can
guys.
agree that Idris Elba is a better actor than Will Smith, right?
Yes.
So it's an improvement as a substitution.
Probably an improvement.
It's a better stand-in.
But it's just like, ugh. But I like to see that Jai Courtney's Captain Boomerang character is still there, and Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. So you do
Definitely.
get, and Viola Davis is Amanda Waller, and what's his name that does the Captain?
Oh, Joel Kinnaman?
Yeah.
Kinnaman, I
So
think
you
that's his
get
name.
like a nice feel of the original cast that's there, but then there's all these new characters.
It seems in better hands when it comes to the original characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So that was probably my favorite trailer we've seen this last week.
Kyle, what was yours?
I think the one that surprised me the most I'll talk about is Snake Eyes, because first hearing about this movie, it's a character from the G.I. Joe franchise, and I just have figured G.I. Joe is kind of a dead franchise. Like, no one really is clamoring for G.I. Joe movies, but this trailer has me interested for this movie. Like, I always thought the Snake Eyes character was like the best part of the first two G.I. Joe movies, even though they were pretty bad. But it seems like they're really kind of diverging from G.I. Joe and just allowing it to be focused on this character and letting him like have some cool action moments. And it seems like there's some cool chases and some cool, stuff that's going to involve like the character personally. So even though it's taglined as a G.I. Joe story, it still feels pretty self-contained. And yeah, I think the trailer was just cut well to where it really has me interested in seeing that self-contained story.
I agree with you. This would have been my second favorite trailer this week. I liked all the tech that they have. Henry Golding is so charismatic. It's really good to see him in something that wasn't that Last Christmas turd of a romantic movie, whatever. So that was just a miss for him. But this one looks really good. And when we compare it to Shang-Chi, I'm liking this one a lot more. Surprisingly.
I still do like the Shang-Chi movie, but I felt pretty confident about it since the first trailer. So this trailer was just, cooler, but
surprising.
I'm still, and Snake Eyes was the more surprising one to me.
Yeah, for sure. No, Shang-Chi, we can talk about it. It looks really good. It's got that Marvel quality. It's got a lot of the Marvel like special effects and what you come to expect.
Looks great. Yeah.
But I just felt like the lead actor in that was a little bit of a wet blanket. There wasn't anything like so charismatic about him on screen that I'm like, I have to know more about this character. I felt it was kind of meh. And Henry Golding, on the other hand, like oozes charisma. So
It's true. Henry Golding's great.
I don't know a lot about because I never watched the G.I. Joe movies. I don't know anything about that character. There's just a freshness for me when it comes to it that I don't feel like I get with the other one.
Sure.
Well, you are both wrong.
Okay.
The best trailer this week was Halloween Kills, the second in the rebooted
Halloween
trilogy starting in 2018 with David Gordon Green and Danny McBride.
Which is
written and directed.
Still a crazy pairing.
Yeah. No, it's the first one was a surprise hit. I mean, it opened to the biggest October weekend ever at like 76 million.
Something crazy like that.
It was a monster. And it was actually surprisingly well done in the vein of these horror movies like Us or Get Out that really can change the way you look at one of these films. It was a slasher film, but it was expertly directed and written, and
Jamie Lee Curtis, who was amazing.
She was brought back. She was great. I mean, it really, in my mind, changed the game. I'm not a horror movie person, but it really upped the ante as far as how it was done.
Made it more widespread.
Yeah, and I expect this one to do the same and continue the story. There's more, horror action, I should say, like where he takes down an entire team of firefighters.
As one of them with their own, with their own chainsaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or buzzsaw or whatever it was.
Yeah. Beyond awesome. I mean, that's what you need. He's usually like sneaky, comes around a corner, grabs one, maybe two people at the same time. I mean, it's a whole fire brigade.
And he just lays them out.
Yeah.
No,
Game over.
it definitely looks as good as the first one. I just am wondering how much more unhinged they're gonna go with this, I guess. I mean, it seems in like a throwaway line, it kind of seems like there might be something else to him, because Jamie Lee Curtis, I think it's her, says like, as he keeps killing, he keeps getting stronger. And I'm like, does that mean anything, or is she just talking about the situation in general? Like, is there going to be something else to this that?
Well, she
won't
said
fit
he's
with the
flesh and
movie?
blood
He
too.
eats their souls like the bad guy in Mortal Kombat. Your soul is mine.
Yeah, are we going to see something like that, or which I hope not?
That would definitely change the game. All of a sudden,
Exactly.
he grows wings and flies away or something.
From it being so grounded,
Yeah.
like grounded / heightened, all the way heightened.
Relatable, gritty. Like, I mean, they walk into like an average house when he kills that woman in the beginning, and
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, like this is creepy because that looks like every friend you had growing up's house.
Exactly.
And this
Like, I've
is
seen that house.
he's like driving in a Corvette with a chainsaw at the window, chopping people in half. Yep, a little different than the first one.
Right. But still, sign me up. Like, this trailer looks awesome. I'm really glad they held off on not like selling this to streaming or something.
Yeah, I just don't know what the point is. We all know it's part 2 of a trilogy, and I'm like, well, he doesn't die at the end of this one, so
The third one is called Halloween Ends, so that's fair.
right. But you know that it doesn't end. Ken called it in an earlier podcast.
Oh
episode.
God, Cody!
I had to put that in there.
Oh my God.
What was your suggestion?
So
What
we all have a
happens?
hot take on
Yeah.
how these are going to end. So there's going to be a time they show the mask being removed.
Yeah.
The mask gets thrown on the ground, and there's some other deranged child that picks it up that becomes Michael Myers. Or in the ultimate twist, Jamie Lee Curtis has a mental breakdown and becomes Jamie Lee Myers.
I think Jamie Lee Curtis has to sacrifice herself in the third one for that to end and go away, and then, like Ken said, some other kid's gonna take up the mantle.
I think it will happen in the third one too, that she sacrificed herself, and Michael Myers will finally be dead somehow. I don't know.
Or
if he
maybe-
can't burn into fire, I don't know what else they're
Or
gonna kill him
maybe
with.
that maybe she'll sacrifice herself in this one, and it'll be one of the daughters or something in the next one.
I just don't see Judy Greer and whatever the actress's name who plays the granddaughter. I don't see them leading Halloween Ends.
No,
I think it has to be Jamie Lee.
I think so too. I'm
Yeah.
just they could go a la Last Jedi and kill off the best main character.
I mean, you never know, I guess, but I don't know. Maybe they saw The Last Jedi and they were like, nah, we'll keep Jamie Lee.
Yeah.
It's fine.
that was dumb.
Michael Myers removes his mask to find out he's the Candyman Tony Todd. And there's a crossover with
The crossover we never knew we needed. The Candyman trailer, that also dropped, and that
Right.
was a great trailer too.
I would say that I'm more interested in Candyman because I felt that the character, the way the trailer sets up, kind of sets up the legend
Yeah.
of the Candyman, and then there's this feeling of like justice and revenge when it comes to the killer guys. So you don't like hate him automatically, and it's scary because you're like, oh well, but this is a bit of a revenge thing, and people are just getting caught up in it, and so there's a like not a twist there, but there's just something different and neat there. I have no idea what Mike Myers thing all is just other than killing indiscriminately as much as he can.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
No.
it's amazing.
And I don't remember much from the original Candyman other than the fact that he haunted my dreams until about 6 months ago.
I finally just got over it.
Yeah.
And then this trailer got released.
And he's back.
20 more years of that again. So yeah, I think that's all we have for the day, right?
We had one more trailer. It's a happy one. Scene 2.
Oh, yep.
And I'm really excited that they got it out so early. I think it comes out at Christmas. It looks really cute. It's got all the same characters as in the first scene. It's just on a bigger, grander scale. Now they're going like big time
Big time shows.
Yeah, and they got to really produce. But then there's a whole message about the music heals. I don't know. It looks cute. It's bright and it's animated. It'll do well at Christmas, and the songs are cute. So I like it. I liked it.
Play the hits.
Play the hits.
Play the hits. Have fun characters. Looks just as well made as the first one did.
Yeah.
Trailer should not be 4 minutes long or however long it was.
Oh yeah, it was a bit long.
But yeah, outside of that though, yeah, I'm sure it'll play great during Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they dropped this extra long trailer to play in front of F9 this weekend.
Yeah.
That'll get the kids to come.
You think
this.
Fast and Furious 9 is long?
Yeah, this trailer's longer.
Would you see the Sing trailer while you're waiting for your PG-13 action movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they couldn't really do the Halloween Kills trailer.
Yeah, they could.
Because the Halloween Kills is an R, and usually, well, you shouldn't put R films on PG-13 trailers. There should be some curating of trailers here.
I don't know. I feel like if the demographic is just has well enough of a crossover that it could work. Like Halloween and Fast 9, I don't see much of a discrepancy.
No, it's not. Yeah. It's not Suicide Squad's Red Band trailer where they're ripping arms and legs off of things.
I mean, if you put the trailer for, I don't know, the Nicolas Cage movie Pig in front of Fast 9, I don't think that's the right way to go.
I thought we almost got through a podcast without mentioning that movie.
No.
It looks so good.
No.
Goodbye, everybody.
No. Kyle thinks it looks really good. I just think it looks really weird. And I showed a few people it, and they're like, so is he going to, is there going to be action like in John Wick? Is he going to go after the people that got the pig? I'm like, I don't think so on this one.
No, it's going to be an artsy-fartsy John...
John Snore.
John Oink. John, yeah.
Whatever the joke could be.
Yeah.
You can fill it for yourself.
John Pork.
Well, guys, I'm just really happy that we had, 6 new trailers. They all looked really good. Some a little meh, but at least we have product coming up. And
trailers are being released.
Yeah.
Like,
we're not looking at independent trailers trying to find... Kyle is.
Like the crumb, the crumb of interest. Like, can an audience, can this garner an audience? No, all these films will get an audience.
Sure,
and it's just, and theaters really should be playing up on this. I know it's early, but get Scene 2 out there, because a lot of people are so disconnected when it comes to media. They don't realize what is going into theaters, what's a movie, what's a TV show anymore. The lines are being blurred, and it is causing confusion, and I would say confusion and delay in the marketplace. And so, just theaters are going to have to step up and really start marketing these, because the studios don't have the budget, and of their budget, they're pushing everybody streaming, which is part of the issue here.
Yeah. But the trailers this week: Snake Eyes franchise film, Suicide Squad franchise film, Candyman reboot, Sing 2 franchise, Shang-Chi Marvel franchise, and Halloween Kills franchise. Like, we need these set just like they are, all in a row, just boom, 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 to rebuild that confidence in the theaters. And then we can start seeing these new films with these new ideas and these fun, we'll take a swing at something.
Right.
Take a swing at Pig.
Take a hatchet to it and get some bacon.
Roadrunner, the Anthony Bourdain documentary.
Yeah.
And was it Out of Death, the Bruce Willis B
movie
Bruce Willis thing that's out there.
Take a swing at that.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Have a good weekend. We'll be back next week. Talk more, as long as no other studio keeps moving things.
We'll see
talking
how
to
this
you,
goes.
Warners and Sony. Sony, don't you move, don't breathe too. Just get us some marketing materials.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Bye.